They walked into the studio with smiles, but within minutes it was a fiery clash that left viewers gripping their seats. On one side, Christopher Hope calmly dropped the government's bombshell. Mandatory digital IDs are coming. Across from him, Kelvin MacKenzie scoffed, ridiculing the plan as a pointless gimmick. Then came the blistering exchange, voices raised, accusations flying. History of Blair's failed ID dream thrown into the mix. The tension built and built until the final moment, when disbelief exploded across the panel. Was this bold reform, or just political theater to distract from deeper failures?
Did you know over 95% of our viewers aren't subscribed? Subscribing is free and helps us create more great content. Hit subscribe now and join our community.
And to think that those checks couldn't be carried out on well, actually, it'll be on your phone. However, to stop illegal migrants wandering around our high streets or wandering around our streets or just generally being receiving employment through this route, I'm afraid that will not work.
Joe?
I used to be really opposed to the idea of ID cards, but I think times have changed. And I think we all give so much information about ourselves and our lifestyles, including where our car's parked, what the dog's going to eat for supper, what we're going to eat for supper, how many steps you've done and all of that sort of stuff. And I think it makes sense now, and I think there will be less resistance. I would absolutely hate it if it became something where it was a criminal offence not to be able to produce your digital ID card. But I do think it might go some way to closing some of the loopholes in the black economy.
No, but isn't that the entire point? I mean, I hope that it does become a thing that you have to produce it, because otherwise, then there would be absolutely no point. So if cops are walking down the street and they see somebody and they say, who are you and can you prove it? If somebody says, oh, well, I don't have to do this, then what is the point? They're supposed to be using this in order to stop illegals wandering around our nation. And what is interesting is now explains why Yvette Cooper got the bump. She got the bump because she was sceptical, as the Home Secretary, that this would work. So they solved that problem, and they thought she was doing a good job, and they moved her to Foreign Secretary, and they got somebody in, Mahmood. They got her in because she actually was a nodding dog on this.
It would make sense that, at the moment you say, OK, I'm Kelvin MacKenzie, I've come for a job here, and I say...
Can I say to you that day ended some years ago?
You say you wouldn't even get as far. You say Kelvin MacKenzie, you'd be out the door.
Yeah.
Well, there is.
You wouldn't get in the door.
No, that's true. But there is a point where you're supposed to check as an employer. But you're checking paper documents, somebody's dodgy passport. You could have borrowed it from somebody else. I do think it makes sense. I think it will also streamline access to things like benefits, income tax, and those sort of things.
Come on, streamline benefits. We've already got them streamlined to the point where something like 9 million people in our country.
But it may, as soon as you get your national insurance number, that should be your gateway, if you like, to everything as a British citizen. And it seems to make sense to me now that if you have got those...
But the basis of this, Joe, to be honest, the way it's being sold is that in some curious way, like smashing the gangs, it's going to stop illegal migration.
Kelvin MacKenzie, Christopher Hope asked me what I thought, and I would have sworn, but I've composed myself now.
Right.
This, I know you can't go swearing on 6 o'clock tea time telly. You won't ever see me again. I get booted off.
No, you just go to late nights.
No, you don't want me on late night. I could X-rated tubes.
Well, nobody's watching late night, as far as I know.
I'll tell you what I think. I think it's an absolute disgrace. This concept that this is to stop illegal migration, that is a lie. That is just the latest low-hanging fruit excuse that they've come up with to try and get people to buy into this, because they know the public sentiment is against illegal migration. People want it controlled. So what they're bargaining on and gambling on is there's such a fury about illegal migration that this might finally be the thing that allows us to get this over the line. They've tried to get this over the line now for goodness knows how many decades. They've failed all the time. And actually, I don't bank on Keir Starmer actually being able to implement this pre-2029. So I don't imagine it's actually going to be implemented anyway, if my understanding of their ability to do this is correct. Everything that you just mentioned, Joe, you say, oh, yeah, we go to supermarkets, we park. Okay. There's a really key point to that, and that is called consent. You choose.
Yes.
If you choose to go to a supermarket and have a loyalty card, you choose to give all that data away. If you choose to, I don't know, go on whatever and fill in whatever, that's a choice. When you start mandating to people that this is what you have to do. People must always remember the COVID lockdowns and what they did to people. They had vaccine passports. They tried to control you within an inch of your life. If you don't have this injection, which, by the way, does not stop transmission. They stopped you travelling, they stopped you socialising.
But the
if
government...
you trust this government...
The previous government brought in the need for photographic ID in order to be able to vote.
But I've got no issue. I've got no issue with you having to prove that you're eligible to vote.
So if you
based on a plethora of ID and everything that's available.
Some people don't have passports. Some people don't have driving licenses.
But then in that case, you can apply by choice. Again, the key word is choice. You're not mandated to vote. There's no mandation.
Well, you can
choose to apply for an ID card if that's what you want to do.
If we want to crack down on illegal working...
All right. How's that playing out in countries that have got, European countries that have got ID cards?
It hasn't made the slightest difference.
No illegal migration, no illegal
I'm not
working.
saying, but it's not all about illegal migration. It's about an illegal...
But that's the way it's being sold.
I know, and I know that's Michelle's point, but it is... In principle, it is not a bad idea.
Isn't it? I mean, I actually take Michelle's view on this, but isn't it the truth about the matter is that they can't solve the migration, they can't solve the illegal migration issue, they can't stop people coming across, they're not prepared to do make the tough decisions, so they keep on making these kind of quasi-legal or quasi-PR exercises in order to stop it, and that doesn't work. And all that will happen now is there will be a tremendous row about this, and then the numbers coming into the country will be exactly the same, and along comes Farage, and that will be the end of it.
You mentioned about dissent. There's a protest, I know already, a protest that's planned for this weekend. There's many, many people that say that they don't consent to this. I think it is an absolute disgrace. How dare you? How dare you be so poor at your job when it comes to managing migration that we've already got to live with our communities and all the rest of it change beyond recognition because of this problem? How dare you, because of your own inability, now enforce even more consequence onto law-abiding British...
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Next UK, your go-to for real stories and sharp analysis.